Every single time you go online, you're leaving behind this invisible trail of data. So today, we're going to follow that trail together to really understand what digital privacy means, and more importantly, how you can take control of it. It sounds a little dramatic, but it's true. When you open a website, your data isn't traveling alone. Your activity is being watched, logged, and analyzed by all sorts of entities. Think your internet provider, advertisers, even the websites you visit. So let's talk about your digital footprint. It's kind of like leaving footprints in the sand, right? Every site you visit, every link you click, it all leaves an impression. And that collection of impressions becomes this invisible record of your entire journey across the web. Okay, so what are we actually talking about here? What's in this trail? Well, it's a lot more than just random code. We're talking about your IP address, which can point to your general location, details about the device you're using, your browsing habits, even the specific things you type into a search bar. All right, to really get this, we need a starting point. So let's begin with the baseline, how most of us connect to the internet every single day. We'll just call this the direct route, or normal browsing. So what is normal browsing? Well, from a technical standpoint, it's exactly what it sounds like. You open your browser, type in a website, and your device makes a direct connection. Simple as that. No middleman, no detours. And right there, that's the classic trade-off. On one hand, normal browsing is super fast and convenient. It just works, But the flip side is privacy, or, well, the lack of it. Your IP address is out there for every site to see, and your internet service provider, your ISP, they have a log of every single site you visit. So by default, you have almost no real privacy. Okay, so if normal browsing is like driving on a public highway where anyone can see your car, what's the first layer of protection we can add? Well, that brings us to our first tool, the VPN. Think of it as your own private encrypted tunnel. VPN stands for Virtual Private Network, and what it does essentially is create this secure, scrambled tunnel between your device and a private server run by the VPN company. All of your internet traffic gets routed through that tunnel first before it ever touches the wider internet. This is exactly why you always hear people say to use a VPN on public Wi-Fi. Seriously, at a coffee shop, someone else on that network could potentially snoop on what you're doing. A VPN locks that down. It also hides your real IP address from websites. They just see the VPN's IP instead. That's a great first step against some of that annoying ad tracking. But, okay. This leads to a really important question. If you're hiding your activity from your ISP and from websites, who can see it now? And here's the key thing to understand. A VPN doesn't get rid of the need to trust someone. It just moves that trust. Instead of trusting your internet service provider, you're now putting your trust in the hands of your VPN provider. So what if you need to go a level deeper? If a VPN is all about privacy, what about true, genuine anonymity? Well, that's where our next tool comes in, the Tor browser. Tor is short for the Onion Router, and it works in a completely different way. See, it's not one company with one private tunnel. It's this massive global network of computers run entirely by volunteers. And its whole purpose is to make you anonymous by bouncing your connection all around the world through these volunteer servers, which are called Relay. So how does it pull this off? That Onion name is a huge clue. Your data gets wrapped up in multiple layers of encryption, just like an onion. Then, it's sent on a random journey through at least 3 of those volunteer relays. Now here's the genius part. Each relay only peels off one layer of encryption, just enough to see where to send the data next. This means no single point in that chain knows both where the data came from and where it's going. Your identity literally gets lost in the network. And this is probably the most important distinction we'll make today. A VPN is for privacy. It's designed to hide what you're doing. Tor, on the other hand, is for anonymity. It's designed to hide who you are. That's a huge difference. So we've got our 3 approaches, normal browsing, a VPN, and Tor. The big question now is, which one do you use and when? This is where it's all about building a strategy. Let's just break it down. When it comes to speed, nothing's going to beat normal browsing. It's just the fastest, plain and simple. For good, solid privacy, a VPN is a major step up. But for true anonymity, Tor is in a league of its own. But you see the pattern, right? The more protection you add, the slower things get. It's a classic balancing act. So let's put this into practice. If you're just streaming a movie or playing a game and speed is everything, then yeah, normal browsing is gonna be your best bet. But
If you're at the airport on that public Wi-Fi, then using a VPN isn't just a good idea, it's essential.
But for those other situations where the stakes are higher and protecting who you are is the absolute top priority, there's really only one answer, and that's Tor.
And that really brings us to the main point of all this. Digital privacy isn't about finding some magical one-size-fits-all tool. It's a strategy. It's about knowing what's in your toolbox and understanding when to use each one. So the goal isn't to ask, which tool is the best? The real question you should be asking yourself is, what's my strategy?